And we are live, huh?
Do it, baby.
All right. Well, as you know, world schedule has been released. We know where we're at now. We've still got a few more of the Swiss stage to go, but let's go through the list of the mid laners I think have had the most impact in so far in the Swiss stage. I'm going to give an honourable mention first to Quid in his one game against BLG. Uh, Probably the best performance. He went 9-0-9, so I want to put that out there, but that's just an honourable mention. We're going to get in at our D tier, well, our fifth rank, which is Hong Q for CFO. He's had a real nice tournament so far. He opened it with a Rise game versus Fnatic, dropped a nice 3-2-9 versus T1 with Rise as well. Obviously against the GOAT, Faker, went 6-4-11, and then went 5-0-11 versus AL. So that is there. And then in my C tier, I've got Caps for G2. He started off with a weak performance. I mean, he did hit some nice ults with the Azir, but the team really didn't have much to go through it with. He went 1-5-3 versus Top Esports. And then came out with the LeBlanc versus MKOI. That was a win where they versed MKOI, as I said. He went 5-4-7. And then the Anivia pick. The Anivia came in for the Rise counter. Went 1-3-10, but they did win. And they are currently 2-1 in the standings. And then coming in at our B tier rated player, I have Chovy. Started off with an easy game against PSG, went 7-1-10 as Galio. Then anyone's legends, he plays Talia, goes 3-3-5 with a loss. And then probably one of the biggest stompings so far in the tournament was Gen G versus T1. He went 9-0-4 as Orianna. But still need to see a bit more from him against a bit more upper competition. But, I mean, his best game was his last game, which was against one of the obvious heavyweights in it all. And then coming in at my A spot is BDD for KT Rolster. I mean, unbelievable so far. He versus MKOI goes 3-0-8 as Orianna. Versus TSW, another easy game as Orianna, 1-1-11. And then goes 5-2-15, 5-1-11 as Aurora and Cassiopeia against Top Esports. And they are currently 3-0. And then coming in at my S, I think the standout player so far in the mid lane has been Shanks. He started off strong against HLE with an 8-2-13 performance as Cass. Then comes in against Gen G. Honestly, it's not even an argument at the moment. The best mid laner in the world in Chovy. He goes 3-1-10 with another win. And then they verse CFO in the best of three. He starts off with a bad performance as Rise, goes 0-5-3 in game 1. But then brings it right back in game 2, 5-1-10 as Orianna. And then to close it out, 7-0-4 to win, making them 3-0 and already qualified. So that's my list. What do you think?
No, it's a pretty good list, man. I think for me personally, I'd swap what's it called? Hong Q and Caps. I think Hong Q's had a way better tournament than Caps. Caps has had decent games, but I think Hong Q's been more standout than him. Caps wasn't really there for game 1. He was playing his ear, so he was trying to scale. Didn't really have much impact. I think Hong Q's been pretty solid every game. He's been standout player for CFO. As well as I do rate Shanks as number 1, but I think I'm putting KT as number 1 instead of Shanks. I'm swapping them around. I think KT every game he's been a standout player. Everyone expected KT not to even make the top 4 this year, so it's surprising they made it. They had a rough start to a year. Towards the end they turned it around. But every game his tournament he's been standout player. On his Talia, every pick he's been picking, he's been getting those important picks in the team fights. Game 1 was questionable. They did make a comeback in game 1. But every other game, man, I think he's been very solid. Same for Shanks. It's pretty hard. I think they're both could arguably get the top 1 spot. You could have them both at the top 1. But I think for me, KT has been more of a game changer.
Yeah.
But Shanks has definitely been. He's been solid too. I mean, they're definitely the best tournament so far.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I mean, what do we think about Chovy? Like, obviously, he hasn't really had a bad performance. They are 2-1, which is what probably knocks him down for me. I mean, to be 3-0 with some of the performances that Shanks and BDD have had. And obviously with Shanks, he beat, they've just gone through a gauntlet. They beat Gen G, they beat Hanwha Life, they beat CFO. I mean, it has been, that's what put him at the top for me. I thought BDD on KT, they versus MKOI and TSW. MKOI, they started off strong, but faded out. And TSW, I mean, we don't really have any expectations for TSW. So that's why I've got Shanks at number 1, just because of the performance he's put up, especially against Chovy. Chovy is obviously the benchmark, and I think he had a very impressive game. So that's why I've got him there. Do you think anyone else might have missed out or been hard done by?
Definitely. I think honorable mention is Jojo from MKOI. They arguably should have won every single game.
Yep.
If they just closed out the first two,
Yep.
MKOI would have went 3-0. Jojo he's had a great performance. I've watched every single game of his. He's played very well, very consistent all tournament. He had one, slow game, but that's just normal for a team of MKOI. But every other game, I think he's been performing real well. I think honorable mention for him for sure. I'd say his team has been letting him down a bit, but he's been pretty solid in mid lane.
Well, it sounds like you'd almost get rid of Caps for Jojo. Is that true?
I reckon I could.
Yeah.
I honestly reckon I could. Caps has been playing well as well, but he's been getting solo killed. He hasn't been playing the Caps level for sure.
Yeah.
No way he has.
Yep.
Whereas Jojo, even when MKOI versus G2, Jojo was playing very well. But yeah, I can see why Shanks is first for you. If you go off the teams they played, they definitely versed a way more competitive teams. Yeah, it's hard. They're definitely top 2 for sure, but for right now, I think BDD and Shanks.
Okay, so that's where we're standing at there. So that's where we'll end it here with the mid laners. We will come back with I believe we should do the top laners next, followed by the AD carries. I mean, what can you say about Viper at the moment? I mean, he's a freak.
Junglers will be a good shout too.
Yeah, so we're going to come back. I mean, support, obviously all roles matter, but we wanted to start off with the mid laner. I mean, hopefully by the end of this, we got Faker at number 1. I mean, we're both T1 fans. They're the reason why we actually started watching this to begin with. And so hopefully we can get Faker back in there, but I do have a slight suspicion that it might be Chovy when it's all said and done.